Hello and welcome to the Real Reseller Expo 2024. Well, that's what I've called it because I basically couldn't think of anything else. But if you're all here, you know what you're here for. You're here for a Q&A, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who's sent in the questions. I've got over 30 questions to go through, so I'm going to try and get through them as quickly as possible. But there's a few rules before we start. If anybody does any hate speech or is nasty to anybody, you will get blocked and reported straight away. And also, there was a competition in this video, and that is for the people who have sent in questions. I was going to just do only one prize, but I thought, you know what, let's do 3 prizes. First prize is for £5 on my eBay shop. The second prize is for £15 on my eBay shop. And the first prize is for £30 on my shop. So if you find anything £30 or under, or 15 or 5, you can get it for free, or you can use it for money off on like a more expensive item. All you need to do is go onto my eBay shop and then message me on there, or tell me in private on DM me on Instagram, tell me I want that, and then if it's in your price range, then yeah, I'll send it for free. For every question, I'm gonna say my response if I can. I will be honest, and I only answer questions to what I know of. This is where you lot come in. This is where I want you lot to talk to each other in the comments. Maybe I've missed certain things out. Maybe you know a bit more. There might be questions in there that I don't know nothing about, and that's where you lot come in. I want to have loads of people having conversations and talking about the questions. Every question will be timestamped, so if you want to go to a certain question, you go into the description, click on that timestamp, and you'll go straight to that question. Also, the prizes will be randomly throughout the video, so make sure you watch the whole of the video because you might miss out on a free gift. The first question is from Thomas Definelis, I think. Sorry if I pronounce anybody's name wrong. And they say, how do you pack walkers to send? Well, I did a video about this ages ago, so I can't really show you. I'm not going to go and get a walker and then start wrapping it in front of you now. I will leave the link in the description, then you can find it and then watch it. Next question is from Adrian6664. Do you go to auctions? How does it compare to others like charity shops and car boots? Auctions are, I would say, the best. If you can find the stuff, they are better than both. With auctions, you can find stuff that you're never ever going to see anywhere else. You're going to see a lot of rare stuff. Also, you can pick up a lot of bargains. If you're a collector in certain things, you can go to certain auctions and pick up them items. Also, if you want to pick up bulk items, like in the auction near me, there's a lot of boxes, which is like, I would call it junk or bric-a-brac. And you could buy them for about £5, and you probably could sell each item in there for like £1 or £2 and triple your profit. So it's really worth going. The only trouble about auctions is you've got to be careful, because if you're bidding for something and somebody else is bidding against you, you could actually overspend. I have done that. I did it on a Lego Titanic. Spent probably about £100 more than I should have, but I was not letting that person win. Yeah, so just be careful, because also you have the commission on top of that. So yeah, but if you haven't been, definitely go. Next question is something just a bit funny. It's from Cadgycogy, and he says, is Cadgycogy the goat? You're definitely not a sheep, so yeah, I have to call you a goat. Yeah, you're all right. I don't know if you can class yourself as a goat yet, but yeah, it's quite funny because I never used to watch you. My actual mom watches you before me, and all I could hear is swearing and all this stuff. So I watched one of the videos and I was like, why is he just buying plushes all the time? He's obsessed with Minions. But throughout the video, it actually did make me laugh, and I thought some of the things you do say make sense. So I subscribed, and I watch virtually every video of yours now. So yeah, you go. You got a subscriber from me. So I hope that answer is good enough for you, mate. Another question from Adrian664, and he says, postage is a big thing for me. I have a lot of parcels go missing. Do I avoid the tracking on occasions, but it makes postage high? Should I be worried as much, or should I use a cheaper second class, or should I have tracked 48? Just send everything second class, unless it's a really expensive item that you paid a lot for, or there's something that's really expensive you sold. Get that all signed for first class, whatever. Anything that you've bought for a couple of quid and you're selling for like 20 quid, just get second class. I use Royal Mail because I just feel like it's more professional, and it's they're working for that company. You're not going to have somebody like from Every who doesn't really work for the company grabbing your box and then going whoop, boom over the fence, headering it, doing a bicycle kick at the door. You know, you've seen it on videos what they do with them. So yeah, and also some companies do thief boxes. If they look like a shoe box, I've had that done, they seem to go missing. So yeah, just second class it, Royal Mail, that's what I do. If it's anything bigger, then I go with Parcel Force. This is a really good question, and it's from not this 6329, and he says, I have a lot of Britney Spears signed stuff to sell. What is the best way to list it on eBay? Buy now or auction? And then he says, oh, you know, such icon. Depends on what it is. If it's really rare, like a doll, which is one of so many, and it's signed by Britney, don't even touch eBay. Go to a specialist auctioneer that deals with like celebrity things or toys, because you're going to get a better amount of money, I would say. You're going to get more dedication on that particular item. If it's stuff just which is not much about it, I would say not very desirable, maybe it's like a poster or maybe a tour t-shirt, stick it on eBay. Have a look at what other ones go for, you know, maybe similar. You might not have the same one, but similar. And then stick it on an auction for a price that you're happy with, you know, minimum offer, and just see if there's a bidding war. Other than that, like I said, if it's really expensive and really rare, stick it, give it to a professional auctioneer and let them make you the money. So next question, and then we're going to do the £5 draw after this question, so get ready for that. This question is from Nikki Ray. Have you ever had a bad experience with a customer that made you want to give it up? If so, how did you get past this? Never had. I've had bad customers, you know, people lie saying it was bad quality or it's not in that condition, and you know what you've sent, so I don't really pay much attention. I haven't really had a bad experience with, you know, reselling in such. I love doing it, you know, the freedom and doing everything about finding things and, you know, new things I never knew about, and then, you know, obviously having sales and something that's you bought for £1 and you sold for like 120 quid. It's just great. The only thing I don't like is the reseller community. I do feel like there's a lot of people who are faking it. A lot of people who have got this image that they are better than others just because they do a certain brand, or they think they are a cult, and it shouldn't be like that, you know. I'm not saying that we should all be friends, because I don't think everybody can be friends in any business, but it's just, you have to be in a certain bubble to be respected by these people, and I just feel like, yeah, it doesn't need to be like that. That's the only thing I don't like about reselling. It's not as what you see it. You just have to be careful and not trust everybody and think that everybody is all this really nice person on camera, because sometimes in real they're not. So let's go on to the £5 prize. I've got a little generator there, as you can see, that's all your names on it, and I'm just going to press it. Oh, who's going to win the £5? And it is Jackie France. So well done, you have just won £5, so you can spend it in my shop £5 off, or if you find anything under £5, then obviously it's free. So on to the next question, and surprise, surprise, it is actually Jackie France. So she has put, how do you price something that's not listed or there isn't anything similar? I can actually answer this quite easily. I've had 2 items that there've been no solds. I couldn't find hardly any information about it, and I've sold them both, and they're both my biggest sales of last year. What you got to do is you've basically got to research in other ways. So forums, Google it, look for alternatives which are very similar. Obviously, if it's really rare and it's like a one-off, then you maybe have to go to a specialist. You know, if it's something like ceramic, go to an auctioneer, go to an antique dealer, and they might be able to work out what it is, how much it's worth. Other than that, forums, like I said, go on things that are sold similar. That's how I did it with my toy and my Apple Mac, which were things that are sold similar, but mine was worth a little bit more or a little bit less without the box. So I just put it on for a price. I put on one on the auction, and I got £230 from £4, which that was a toy. And then the Apple Mac, because it was a limited edition, only came out for a year. I knew the standard version sold for about £500, so I put it on for £1,000. Somebody gave me an offer at £800, and I sold it for that, and I paid £120 for that. So yeah, I made like over £600 profit. So that's all I can really suggest. There could be other ways, but obviously in the comments there might be some more answers for you. Next is a really good question, and it's from Louise Pierce 6828. I do reselling part-time and I love it. On average I make about 1,400 a month, but I can't afford to do it full-time because my job pays more. Would you say it's safe to go full-time? I know I can make 2.5 a month, but it's not consistent. This all depends on how much you wanting to make. You need to first basically know how much you make in your proper job. So if you make 2.5 grand a month, you know you need to make that much money in reselling full time, so you know you're not going to lose any money. And that's profit, not sales. But first of all, you need to get a pen, paper, and put all down everything that you pay for, bills, etc., and even spending money. You know, if you go out, clubs, days out, put everything down, and an average of how much goes out every month. So just go on your bank and see how much you spend a month, and that's how much really the minimum line that you spend. Then you need to be able to make that as a full-timer. Just because you're full-time doesn't mean you're going to make any more. I know it sounds like you should, but I know part-timers that make a lot more than full-timers. You do seem to make quite a lot anyway, so potentially maybe it's better you keeping your job and doing that, because you're going to make more money than you are full-time, unless you are just straight in there and knuckle down. Depends on how hard you work as well, and also just because you work full-time doesn't mean you're going to get more stock. I go around charity shops quite a lot, and you only can get what's there. You know, if you go to a charity shop one day and then go the next day, there's not going to be much more in there. You might find the odd item, but not much. So you got to think, well, I might have to go to a different area, which you can, you know. So obviously that is more cost in petrol. You might buy some food. So you got to take all this in. Maybe put a nest egg for 2 or 3 months of money, so you've got that security if anything does go wrong. Other than that, just go for it. You know, if you don't like your job, or you can go back to that job, try it. If it's working after 2 months, then there you go. If it's not, you can always go back to your old job. The next question is from Joanna Eve, I think it is, or Eves. It's about tax. If you're selling an item that you own and no longer want, How do you show that on your tax return? You just don't tell them. Also, it depends on what item it is. If it's a car, something really expensive, and obviously you're going to have bank transfer, maybe. You just have to write it down, you know, put it in your tax reports and just tell them that this is a personal, you know, sell, and tell them it's a personal sale. That's why that big lump sum is, because you don't want the taxman, you know, trying to, and just prove it's your car and that, or something like that. If it's something minor, quite little, I know, something that's worth a couple of £100, get it sold on a private site like Facebook Market, Gumtree, Car Boot, you know, sell it through a friend or family member, get them to sell it for you. So then they just give you the cash in hand. But other than that, yeah, just declare if it's really expensive. Personally, I would just sell it privately and then get the cash for it. Like I said, it all depends on the item. Right, the next person gave me the most questions of them all. He's definitely after a freebie. He's gave 5 questions in all, and he's got 3 questions here, so I'm going to say all 3. His name's Mr. Flipper, TX3SR, and he's put, how much on average do you spend a week on stock? I don't know. I don't know by hand without me having my books. And it can vary. I don't have a set limit, but I also don't go over the top, because I know I have so much I can spend, you know, because I don't want to go into bills. I don't want to, you know, struggle for that week or month. So I just go around, and if I see something, I'll buy it. Some days I'll spend a lot, other days I'll spend hardly nothing. It's also, with reselling, you just don't know what's going to come around. Some people have budgets, I don't. I just pick up stuff because I know how charity shop works, I know how car boots work. Sometimes you can have really good weeks and you're picking up a lot. Other weeks you can have bad times and it's just like you're struggling to pick up 2 or 3 items. So I hope that answers that question. He's put a really interesting question. You probably saw it on the thumbnail, and it is, if you was going to have a reseller YouTuber boxing match, who would you take on? Oh God. Well, if you've been watching my videos recently, you know there's somebody apparently says I couldn't knock out anything. So if he is watching, let's get it on. Let's have a charity boxing match. Everything goes to charity. Somebody like Lola can set it up, you know, because she's good at that sort of thing. And yeah, winner takes bragging rights. But thing is, I'll just go left, right, good night, and first round knockout. It wouldn't stand a chance. Not after somebody says something about me. Like I said, his name's Sheridan, I think it is. Bonnie Bonnies or something like that is his like selling name. But I'd rather do a Royal Rumble and just get all the people I don't really like in the ring, and then I'll be the last one and I'll do this. Yeah, I'll just be Ultimate Warrior and just be like, hooray! And then chucking everybody over the ropes and everything. So yeah, hope that answered the question. And he goes, have you got a hair transplant? Would you ask Vin Diesel that? Next question is from Claire Randall, 9750. And she has asked, I'm particularly interested in the organisation of reselling. Could you share some tips on how you organise your paperwork and stock? Paperwork, I write everything down. I have 2 diaries, one for stock and one for sales. So that's just a personal thing for me to know how much profit I make. It's like a day-to-day diary, so I know what's been bought and sold every single day. That also goes onto a spreadsheet, so if the taxman does ever come knocking on my door and wants to see all my books, there you go, you can have it. With my stock, I don't have no stock really formation. It's all just put in the shed or in the house. I haven't got that much stock really because, you know, I'm working by myself. Some people have lockers and all that stuff, but I haven't got the stock and I used it by memory. I know there is the systems you can have, SKUs, where everything is numbered and you can just find it by the number. But with my stuff, because I'm not niche, I have random stuff. It's more like, I would say, for clothing, because you know everything looks the same. But yeah, at the moment I don't have a certain procedure around stock because I pretty much know where everything is anyway. Next question is from Eddie Hewitt, 5529, and he's put, how do you decide whether to put an item on Vinted or eBay, and do you ever list items on both sites at the same time? I put on both sites. So if I can put it on both sites, I will put it on both sites. eBay, you can put more on, obviously. Vinted, you restricted to certain things, but if I can put them on both, I'll put them on both. With eBay, I always put it on a little bit more because the fees, where on Vinted, I'll put it on a bit lower. We start off on eBay first because it's you can obviously find out the sales and what it's sold for. And then when I've done that, I'll just copy and paste it, put it on Vinted, and I probably will lower it just a little bit because I know Vinted's a bit more like they want a bargain, but you can sell really expensive items on there, and I've done that in the past. So we'll do one more question before we draw the second prize, and it's from Georgina Humphreys, and she only lives down the road from me. Never met her, but maybe we'll bump into each other one day. And she's put, say in 5 years' time, you made your dream money. Would you invest it or would you stay as a reseller? I've always wanted to be an Egyptologist, which is obviously like studying that around Egypt area, archaeologist. So if I won loads of money, like say for instance, I had to go on the Euro Millions and I won it, I wouldn't do anything. I'll be living the lifestyle, I'll be going all the trips everywhere. There's no point because you're never going to make that money anyway. Yes, you could invest it and make more money, but if you've won like £50 million, I don't think I'd be able to spend it. I mean, you'd have to be absolutely stupid to spend £50 million. If I was going to invest it, it'd probably be something in to do with supercars. I love my supercars. I'll probably have a hire service or something like a track day for supercars and have like a range of different supercars. Something, you know, where I don't even have to do anything. Somebody else is running it and then I'm just making some money out of it. But yeah, or maybe if I won a lot, buy Liverpool Football Club. But I'd have to have a lot of money to do that. So now it's prize draw number 2, and this is for £15. As you know, I'm going to press the button and let it spin. Here we go. Who's it going to be? And it is James Meyer. Well done, you have won £15 to spend in my eBay shop. The next question is from Jay Brano, and he's put, how much do you think someone should put away in savings when they want to go full time? I've already answered this question with a previous one. I would say about 3 months for your bills, and then obviously you're spending money. So whatever your bills cost in a month, do 3 of them so you've got backup. Not saying that you need them because you might just hit it from the start and be brilliant, but you've got that backup. Yeah, that's all I can say. Next question is from Dan 197520008, and he's put, for the last 5 months I've been building up my stock. I start eBay next month. Congratulations, hope you do good. What is the minimum amount of listings I need to make roughly £1,000 a month? Listings is not the way of making a certain amount of money. Listings makes more sales. I always say about 5 to 10 if you're starting off. If you want to sell more, put more on. But mainly it's all about the stock. I mean, you could sell 1 item and get £1,000, or you could sell 1,000 items and get £1,000. It all depends on the stock, you know. And if you want to make money quickly, just look at the items on sold and see if their sell through rate is good. If they're selling like 4 or 5 a month, buy it. If they're only selling one every couple of months, it's going to be a slow burner. So it might earn you a bit, but just think about it might not sell very quickly. But it's all about stock, but it's also about listing. So make sure you're listing every single day. I have done a video about that, so go and check it out. Next question is from the Selling Frog, and he says, do you think promoting is worth it? Simple answer, yes, because it pushes your item up the ranking so people see it first. Are you able to name and shame any bad resellers and the good ones? I've mentioned this in other videos. Yeah, there's good ones and bad ones, but obviously I don't know them personally. They're personal books, you know. People call me a bad reseller, but I make what I want to make, you know. I could make a lot more if I wanted to, but I'm quite lazy as a reseller. I do not work that much, you know. If I was working every day, 9 till 5, I would make a lot more money than I do now. And the final question from him, he says, do you think social media helps with sales? So, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on YouTube. Have I had more sales because I'm on any of them? No. I think it all depends on the person, the amount of subscribers, and what you're selling. I know like big YouTubers like KSI and Logan Paul, you know, if it wasn't for them being on YouTube, Prime would never be the success it has been. So it can work, but for me personally, it hasn't. This question is from Jackie France again, and she says, best place to buy packaging like bags and boxes. Any good advice, as I've just sold 5 empty coffee jars. Thanks for your excellent tip. Also, console games to look out for. Console games, I'm not an expert in that. Obviously, I know about stuff like that. I've been on them all my life. I grew up with them since they came out. But I wouldn't know an expensive one compared to one that isn't. Except for like the obvious ones like Pokemon ones and all that. Some of them, I would say, the rarer it is, the more expensive it is. But there's bound to be some people in the comments that will know more, who just solely focus on like gaming and consoles and stuff like that. I get all my packing from retailers, so B&M, Home Bargains, Decathlon, Alfred's. I get all the boxes free. I just go there once a month and just get as many as possible, and it usually lasts me for the whole month. No point buying them, you know, unless you're doing a particular like market, like say for instance you are setting up your own jewelry or makeup and you want nice boxes for the customers, then obviously you get them made for you. But if you're just doing reselling, selling all bits and bobs, then you know, just it's a box in the end of the day. It's only going to get ripped open. And then I get my poly bags from Amazon because it's just the cheapest. My bubble wrap I get from a supplier in my area, and it's by far the best bubble wrap I've ever had. It's a good price and it's really thick, and you get a lot for your money. And I might be doing something with them. I haven't spoke to them yet, but we might be able to come to arrangement, and I'll let you know if I do. The next question is from Dale Smith, and he's put a big long question. I'm not going to go through it all, I'll just narrow it down. He's basically saying, is there anything that you wouldn't resell? Because he's had a bad experience with Aldi and when he wanted the carrots and it was all sold out. And then he's put, basically then you're seeing people sell them for hire. People that do that are Amazon resellers. They're the ones that go into retail shops and just empty the shelf and make £2 off everything, you know, selling it new, shipping it all to Amazon, paying crazy fees where they're not making no profit. You don't make as much profit doing that as you do as like a reseller. I do. I do think it's wrong, and a lot of shops are now stopping it. They're like giving you a limit, like 2 or 3 items. But that doesn't stop anybody, because what they'll do is they'll just have a group of mates and they'll buy 3 or 4 each. I have done it in the past. like Nike outlets and Adidas outlets, like they have a limit on them as well. So I bought like four or five pairs of trainers, but there's so many there, so it wouldn't even affect it anyway. I would never empty a shelf because I just think it's wrong, because they're there for the public as well. Personally, there's nothing I wouldn't sell that I think's wrong. Maybe I wouldn't sell like anything to do with like symbolism, stuff that can be very controversial, maybe old-fashioned values. Like for instance, I remember, I wasn't around, but it was probably around my mom's era, where they used to have like gollywogs on jam jars and stuff, and they do fetch quite a lot of money. But personally, I just think it's wrong now. You know, it's racist, and why would people want them anyway? I would never buy something like that. Anything with like slogans on, which are quite like sexist or racist or something like that, I wouldn't buy them. Stuff like that basically, but everything else I'll buy, even walkers. Next question is probably from the longest ever name I've ever seen, and it's ready, steady, let's go thrifting. Wow, some of these names, I don't know. She's put, reselling is addictive. I can't feel like I can get out of it now. I need some treatment. We're all in the same boat. We do sort of like get cold sweats when we don't go out. I mean, I don't know how I've managed a whole week without going to a charity shop. Like, I've been to one charity shop all this week, and yeah, it's been hard. But I knew all the bank holiday car boots would be on, but so far they've all been cancelled because of the rain. So yeah, it is addictive, but it's fun. Next is somebody I know who lives near me, and she's asked me how much on average do I make a month. I've done a video about this at the start of the year, telling you the breakdown of my year. It tells you how much I made in profit, how many sales I've made, blah blah blah, everything like that. So go and check that, because my monthly profits are all over the place. You know, sometimes I have really good months, sometimes I have really bad months. It all depends on how lazy I am, basically, because I've already admitted it. I am quite lazy when it comes to reselling. You know, I only work about 20 to 30 hours a week, and yeah, I could make a lot more. And that's what I'm trying to do this year, make a lot more money so I can spend a lot more money on things I want to do. This one is hilarious. It's such a stupid question because you know the answer. He just put it just because he knows what I'm going to say. It's from James Meyer. Congratulations. Will you ever give up buying walkers? Do I really need to answer that? You know the answer, and everybody who's watching this knows the answer. I am John, the Texas Walker Ranger. I provide to the people who need walkers. Oh, thank you for the question anyway. Jack Shaw, and he's put, do you have plans to expand your business, and if so, how do you plan to do it? Right, me expanding my business, at the moment I don't need to, because I'm working like for myself, and I only can pick up stuff what I can pick up. Like I said, reselling's like hit and miss. Some days you can pick up loads, some other days you can pick up hardly anything. The only way I could expand if I start going into wholesaling, which I don't, and buy multiple bulk items, which I don't. I really do want to go into that, because I bought some flasks at the weekend on a car boot, bought 7 of them for 10 quid, and I sold one already for 16 quid. So I've basically paid all of them off, made some profit off that one. So the rest of the 6 are all going to be pure profit. And I was thinking, imagine if I'd have bought 40 or 50 of them, you know, the profit would be even crazier. So yeah, I do want to expand in certain ways to make more money, but I don't see the point at buying units. And I see a lot of YouTubers doing it, and I just think, how are you affording that? You know, I can actually look at their sales and see what they sell. If you want me to do a video about how to find out people's sales and actually how much they are making, I can do that for you. But yeah, I just feel like a lot of them are in debt because they don't earn as much as you think. You never see them tell you about their profits. And I just think they've had loans out and they've had, they're in big debt, or they're paying lots of stuff on finance, which is nothing wrong with that, because if you want to expand your empire, you need to get loans. Every big company has had loans. Dragon's Den is loans. So there's nothing wrong with it. The only trouble about reselling, it's hit or miss. It could all crash and then you've got all this debt to pay and all this stock to get rid of. And yeah, you're in trouble. But like I said, I want to take it slowly. And if something comes up, I will take it if it's worth it. So our next question is something quite good, but it's very simple to answer. It's from Gravelbags2479, and they've put, how do I use GSP? I've searched on eBay and I cannot find it. I can't add it onto any of my items. Is it because I use mobile? No, it's not because you use mobile, because I do everything through my mobile because it's quicker and easier. To get GSP, you've got to have so much feedback. So if you're quite new, you're not going to have GSP because they only give it to people who sell a lot. I don't know officially how much feedback, because one day it just came and I had the option to have it and I said yep, and then just get even more sales. So you can sell abroad, you just have to, it's a bit annoying because different areas are different price. What I would do is everything you sell, just make it sure you can get some good feedback, give them good feedback saying they're great buyers, and hopefully then they will give you good feedback, and then eBay will give you the option to have GSP. Well, look who is back again. Back again for good. There's a bit of my singing for you. It's Mr. Flipper, and he's asked 3 more questions. You're definitely trying to get the prize. Well, there's only one more prize, and I'm doing it after this actual question. Which is your favourite YouTuber reseller? I don't have one. I do not have one. Some are good in some ways for entertainment. Others are good in for knowledge and learning stuff, but I haven't found one that I'm really addicted to, because a lot of reselling videos seem to be either me, or just doing nothing in the video at all, and it's just like, so I've not found one that's been really good. Why do you dislike clothing sellers? I don't dislike clothing sellers. I just think it's very boring and so niche. It's just, they think, not all of them, but the ones I don't like, think that selling clothes is better than anything else. If you're into selling other things, you're not as good as them. You're not as good as reseller as them. And they had a question on the Resellers Summit this year saying, if clothing all died out and you couldn't do it, what would you go into next? And one of them answered saying, we all need clothing. That's it. My answer to that would be, well, how come so many big retailers have collapsed and they sell clothes? Clothing, yes, everybody does need them, but there's so many markets around there. The ones that only seem to survive are the ones that are really high end, your big, fancy brands, or your budget, I would say shops like Primark, who have got a great structure and they sell clothes cheap. You are facing multiple thousands of resellers in clothing, and I just feel like you don't make much money. I can pick up a toy for £1 and sell it for 30-40 quid. I couldn't pick up a piece of clothing for £1 and sell it for 34 quid, because in a charity shop, you know what they do. They see a bit of a Ralph Lauren on it, or a Adidas sign, or Nike sign, or whatever make, which is a brand, and they stick 15 quid on a t-shirt. So I just feel like there's not much profit in it, you know, unless you're very lucky and find like a supplier which you can deal with. And then his final question was, have you found out what suck means? And the question to that is, yes, I did, because I just Googled it. I knew what it meant before. I've already explained what it is. It's just a number system. But I never knew what actually SKU stood for. It stands for Stock Keeping Unit. So that's what it means, but I did know what it meant. And like I said, I don't use it. So it's prize time again, and it's the last one, the big one for £30. So I'm gonna press the button, it's spinning. Who's it gonna be? And it's going to be, so it's Jonah C's. Congratulations, you have just won £30 to spend in my eBay store. So now all the prizes are gone. Probably half of you have gone because you're like, oh, I didn't win anything. But yeah, I'm gonna go through the last questions. The next question is from Howlef Moon 501. I think that's how you say it. Do you cover a certain mile radius? Do you go from do it all in one go, or do you split it up into days? I live in a town, so basically I have a town next to me and another town and another town. Next biggest city to me is Wolverhampton, but it's absolutely rubbish. What I usually do is I do a charity shop run in the first couple of days and just do it, and then I go around charity shops locally maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and that's all I do. I don't really go anywhere else unless I plan it. Like I might go to a certain area, which I do videos about. I have got some videos coming out where I'm going to be going to like the biggest charity shop in UK, the city with the most charity shops. I'm going to be doing all videos like that when it gets a bit warmer. So I've just scrolled through all my messages. This is what all the messages I've had, and I have actually gone through them all. I actually went through them quite quickly. Yeah, so I hope I did answer the questions. Like I said, everybody in the comments, you can answer the questions too. I did this because I wanted to help people out, but I also wanted to make a community for people who actually want their questions asked, not being like, oh, I do this, I don't care about this. Like I said, I'm a reseller of everything, so I can answer most questions. Some questions I answered better than others, but that's where you lot can go in the comments and answer them as well. Yeah, thank you for everybody who's watched this. If you're still watching this now, give me a massive thumbs up, and obviously share this video as much as you can to everybody you know. That would help me out, you know, to get more views. The people who have won, if you find something that is in the price range, message me first on Instagram and tell me your address and I'll just send it to you. Don't buy it through eBay. But if it's something more expensive you want to buy and then I knock off that money, just message me. I'll offer you that price with the money off, and then obviously buy it through eBay. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you hopefully with some car boots in the next video.